My name's Rachel Eyckmans, and I'm a 7th grade math teacher at Moore Middle School. Since implementing the workshop model this year, the engagement has gone through the roof. I always have 90% or more engaged at a time, which is huge. You also have 1 or 2 that are off task, but you can quickly correct and they get on task. Kids want to learn. They don't want to listen to teachers sit up here and talk the whole time. They want to get their hands in, and they want to manipulate the manipulatives and work with other people. The biggest part that I like about the workshop model is the student-to-student purposeful talk and collaboration as part of the Explore and Engage. And I think due to that, I think that my achievement scores have definitely gone up, and it has proved that in my data from my PLC.
You're going to stand up, pair up with one person of the same shape. For example, Mason has a circle. Raise your hand if you have a circle. Okay, there's a bunch of you. Look around the room. Where do you see circles? Okay, when you stand up, hand up, pair up, you are going to meet over here by the circles. Okay? If you look at the corner of your page, Kevin right here has a parallelogram. Okay? All the ones have a parallelogram like this. We're going to meet in the back of the room back here. Okay? You are not going to work with that whole group. You are going to pick one person and you are going to work together. Okay? You are going to share what is important and what is your plan with that one partner. After your talk, you need to have at least one takeaway from your conversation written on that bottom sheet of the paper. You have 4 minutes to do this. Before you go, question. Yes, if you need your calculator, you may do so. However, right now you're not solving it. You're just having a conversation about what you got, what they got, and one takeaway. Okay? Go.
The biggest thing that I've noticed with kids is that you have to set standards and expectations, and you have to hold them accountable to it, while also giving them praise and positive reinforcement for when they do it right. The biggest thing that I've seen this year and the difference in classrooms is the kids really, really want positive praise. They want to be told they're doing something right. So when I say give me 5, it's not calling out kids that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's thank you, those of you that are meeting my expectations, and going around until I have what I need from the kids and doing it in a positive light instead of yelling at kids. And then making sure that I consistently hold them to those standards of this is my expectation, here's what we're doing, you need to fall in line. I have been teaching percents for about a month or 2. So this is a wrap-up lesson before we move on to something else. So I prepared this lesson by looking at their previous test scores and their exit slip from yesterday, because it was also on review of percents. And I differentiated based on what the kids needed. So the questions that they have are based off what they needed extra practice with. So some of the kids are working on commission, some are working on simple interest, some are working on percent decrease. It was just on what they needed. And then working with partners that also needed that same thing in the hopes of pushing them to understanding.
Eric, Aiden, Alex, and Renee. Mason, come here, please. Kevin, Harold, Jayla, and Montserrat. Quickly. Thank you. Thank you. Fernando, Jenna, Percy, and John. And then my last ones, Sarah, Enrique, Cameron, Eduardo, and Nevaeh, please. All right. So before we get started, who can raise their hand and read me today's learning target?
I anticipated some issues with timing, depending on the group of kids I have each day. For example, the class that's being videotaped is my AP class, and they typically work pretty fast. So I was worried about how long to make the timing of each step of the activity today. So, for example, some classes will get more time to work with their partner to figure out what is important, what they need to work on. Whereas this class, I typically move the time down because they don't need as much time to work on things. Also, concerns are always like students working with other students. You always have those few that don't want to work with their partner, especially if they don't get to choose it. But that goes back to creating those expectations, and that this is a group class. You are going to work with everyone. You're going to treat everyone with respect, which they are doing a pretty good job of working with whoever's in their group, and they did not pick them.